Hello, everybody. Very tired here. Welcome back to the collective. I'm very tired, and this is take two. And this is medical underdose. Now, let me tell you why this album is pretty good. So, um, if I have to wake myself up a bit here, Jesus. Medical is a vaporwave artist, or at least that's what it sounds like. I couldn't tell you what they classify themselves as because there is next to no information on this artist that I can find. In fact, like there's five songs on this album. Fucking the one that has the most views has 128. This is pretty in depth. This is not something that you're gonna find detailed Wikipedia articles on, but it's good stuff. Now, so if you look at the album cover, that's kind of what this album sounds like. Kind of like a lot of what, the Birthday Massacres, album covers do, where it kind of gives you, they sound like their album covers, as they sound like the color purple with extra black, and that sounds really weird. But if you listen to Birthday Massacre and you know their album covers, you know what I'm talking about. This is a very similar thing. This album just sounds like the color purple. It sounds very cloudy, slightly eerie, very beautiful, very foggy in how it's mixed. It's really interesting. The first track, there's not really a lot to go over really, but what there is here is pretty alright. The first track, 11, you have this drone for 11 seconds. Or that's part it's called 11, and it's kind of. Hold on one quick sec. Sorry. You have this drone that is not very high pitched, but high pitched enough, and it's kind of. I don't know the word, but it's unsettling somewhat. And then it goes right into the second track, Rejected, which is about 4 minutes. And this is probably the best song on the album. I can't really say EP because the length, we'll get to that later. This is the best probably track on the album. This is the last one. So Rejected is what normally would be a melancholic piano ballad, but what they've done is they've stretched this out at so much. Well, they've added reverb first and stretched it out so much it sounds it's clipping constantly, and it sounds like it's decaying, and it's been left to kind of decay and decompose on its own, and that alone, as well as the reverb and just the very fogginess of the mix, really adds a whole lot of extra color to this track and what normally wouldn't be there. And the clippingness alone gives it a somewhat eerie vibe. But what's actually being played and the mixing of it makes it feel very melancholic, and it's just a very, very, very nice sonic palette that has been painted with these choices. The next track, Stargirl, is another very quick little drone somewhat piece. And then we get into the next track, which is it's in Japanese kanji, but it's translated to I want to become someone else. And this is a 27-minute song, and the sound palette it paints is good. I like what it's going for, but I feel like it goes on way too long. At least for me, if I have to sit down and listen to music, and there's not a lot going on, like for things like drone or vaporwave or ambient, when it's very minimalist music. You can have minimalist music and that would be interesting and have a lot of changes, but when it's literally the exact same for a long time and I'm sitting there paying attention, what tends to happen is my brain starts to shut down. I get really tired, and eventually I'll fall asleep pretty fast too. I probably say, I swallowed a flies. Man, that really sucked. Anyways, so this track is very long, and it's really hard for me specifically to listen to it all the way through because, nothing really happens. But, that being said, from the song title and the palette and kind of the overall kind of meaning you can piece together from this album, this is a very nice piece of music to just kind of turn the lights off, lie down, and just kind of put this music on your headphones or maybe on some speakers and just play it really loud, I guess. And just let it envelop you and just kind of sit there and lie on the floor and feel like garbage, which is one of my favorite pastimes. And this is definitely a good song for that. Just that kind of, lying down, just, when you're in a depressed mood or so, this is a great song to put on, just have it kind of envelop you, so to speak. And it is long, but I do get the merit of the song. I get what they're trying to go for. So I'll give it that. It's just, for me personally, it's way too long, and nothing really happens in that time for it to justify the length. That's kind of the same. It's slightly pulsing the entire time, but that's about it. And the last song, which translates to... Damn, I forget. Hold on. It translates to Digital Self. That's what it is. So, last track, Digital Self, is only 11 minutes. 10 minutes, 55 seconds, 11 minutes, whatever. And this one, I think, is the second best on the album, behind Rejected. And it's a piece that, again, there more evidently this time, there's a lot of that pulsing back and forth. And again, because of the reverb and how this is mixed, you have these waves of sound that wash over you. And they kind of recede, and they wash over you again. And it's a really nice, just kind of lie down and sit there and let the music do its thing. And it's really good for that. You have some... Again, it's how it's mixed, hard to tell, but, what seems like bells or chimes, mixed with the piano and the synth. So, either way, you have this very nice, very well done sonic palette. And if I had to give this project a score, I would say it's a 6 out of 10. I feel like I Want to Become Someone Else is a bit too long. Even for the point they're trying to go for, I feel like maybe 20 minutes around there would do. Maybe 17. I feel like pretty much half hour is a bit too long. I feel like what they could have done is add some of these tracks, transition to each other, or maybe add another track or two to kind of fill in some gaps or so. Because I feel like it's, for a very transcendental album, it's very one track, then all of a sudden it's another one, and it's kind of cutting between. But what is there, like, as much as I say that, I do think all the tracks are worth a listen. I do, there's the 2 interludes, but I feel like this album itself is, worth a full listen through. And I feel like, depending on the person, you can probably really like I Want to Become Someone Else. You can really like Rejected. You could really like Digital Self. But those are basically the main 3 songs, and you have 2 interludes, 11 and Stargirl. But I feel like it's very worth your time to listen to this full at least once and pick what you want out of it. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with no flies going down my dumb throat.